You too, man. What's going on? It's LNH back with another video, and this is insane. Bronny James just had his best game of EYBL, aka AAU, and he just shocked everyone. So let's break it down and get right into it. Now, of course, I've been talking about Bronny James for a minute now. You guys know this dude, but honestly, I even called him a role player at one point, and a lot of people are gonna put this in my face. He definitely proved me wrong, and a ton of other people wrong that were very quick to judge him. Now, the biggest thing about his game right now is, of course, he was coming back from an injury. Now, it's been about 3 weeks since he actually officially came back from this injury, and Bronny actually just dropped 20 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and actually 6 threes. And of course, they won the game 71-65. Now, that is filling up the stat sheet, and of course, shooting well from from the 3-point line is insane. Those are some very good numbers. Now, the first thing, honestly, in my opinion, that I noticed about this game and Bronny James was, of course, what happened when he was given the ball. A lot of people are basically stating that Bronny James' team really does not set up too many plays for him to touch the ball. And while that may be true, of course, in my opinion, you got to be aggressive and take opportunities when you can. If you touch the ball, man, your eyes better be on the basket and trying to get to the rack. And Bronny James for sure showed that this game. Now, 6 threes, that is crazy. This dude was super aggressive. But I think one thing I also noticed, and a lot of the comparisons, people were comparing his jump shot to his father's at this age. Now, of course, Bron does not have the best jump shot. He can put it in the basket when he needs it to go in. But for sure, Bronny James, in my opinion, a much smoother jump shot. And he really looked very comfortable with the ball in his hand, and specifically coming off a dribble and then a jump shot. It definitely looked good. For sure, this dude looks super confident on the court. And I think we haven't seen this in a while. A lot of people are wondering, man, where has this Bronny James been? We've been waiting. All the critics have basically been stating, man, Bronny James is overrated. Definitely wouldn't get this type of notoriety or popularity or vision. Recruits really wouldn't be giving him scholarship offers. But man, after seeing this, I think this definitely proved a ton of people wrong. But one of the biggest things a lot of people are missing here is, number one, he's playing against 17s. Remember, Bronny James is only going to be a junior coming up, and he's actually playing 17s, which of course, that's going to be the big guys. These are, of course, that's majority of these guys are probably already juniors as of right now, turning seniors, and that's crazy in my opinion. Of course, he's technically playing up, and this dude is performing very well. I think seeing Bronny actually be super aggressive and play this type of game is something we haven't seen in a long time, but also is proving a ton of people to really be fans of Bronny, or at least take this dude really seriously as a basketball recruit and not just look at him as the son of an NBA player. Now, on the other hand, what really stood out as well was how good his defense was. If you watched the game at all, he got a ton of blocks and really looked like he was in a defensive mindset, but also able to get buckets on the offense. And I think a two-way player like this is someone who's going to flourish in the long term. For sure, defense is super important. And you guys know there are people even in the NBA who are literally only there to be defensive players and be basically pests against the other teammates. You guys know, of course, Pat Bev is one of those guys, but there are a number of people in the NBA who for sure don't get that type of clout or popularity, but man, they put the clamps on anyone who goes up against them. And I think this is super important for Bronny James to have these type of skills and foundation coming up, because of course, if you play defense, man, odds are you're probably going to get playing time wherever you go, because the offense will come. And for Bronny James, it clearly looks like he was starting to get a little bit more comfortable playing EYBL. And like I said, I think if Bronny even averaged maybe 10, 11 points per game, that's really all he would need to be a really star recruit, in my opinion, just because he's doing everything else on the offensive end pretty well. Of course, getting his teammates involved is something he has no trouble doing. And with that being said, combining it with the defense, man, there are not too many places you see here where Bronny has too many holes in his game. It's starting to look like he's filling those up and proving everyone wrong. Now, I think the biggest lesson we can learn from this game is how good Bronny James can be when he is aggressive on the basketball court. Time and time again, I pretty much noted that was never a talent issue with Bronny James. He definitely had the athletic ability, but it was more of a mindset of him going into every game and really needing to be able to get buckets, play defense very well, and just being super aggressive on the court and not taking things that come in, but taking everything on the court and attacking. And I think that's one of the first times we we've seen this in a while, where Bronny James really didn't wait for things to happen, but he took the ball, kept it in his hand, looked pretty comfortable, and was able to knock down shots pretty easily. And for sure, I think if he continues this type of style of play, he's going to be very successful in the long run. Now, I will state one thing. I think Bronny James for a while now has had an issue, whereas when he plays with other people on his team that are very offensively oriented and very talented, sometimes he shies away and does not score as many points. And I think specifically when he played with Sierra Canyon, playing with Amari Bailey, man, how good of an offensive player Amari Bailey was. Sometimes really Bronny James was not needed to be able to score those type of points, or really didn't have that type of pressure on him to get buckets for the squad. Whereas in this game, I think they really fed Bronny the ball. He got the ball more touches and really looked at the basket and was just in that zone, to where you guys know when you get in that zone and you're playing basketball, man, it's over. Everything is going in the basket and it just feels very natural. And that's what I think we saw from this game for sure. When Bronny turns on that corner and really turns it up to show people what he's made of and has something to prove on the court, this is the type of result. And I think that jump shot, of course, combined with these type of genetics, is very deadly. Now, we even talked about him and Bryce James, but man, after this game, people are going to be questioning that previous video I made and really stating if Bryce is better than Bronny. Man, the way Bronny was shooting last night, I think really shows, man, he may be actually better than Bryce in my opinion. The way he was playing very well, super aggressive, but also, of course, man, the genetics. You have to think about how tall Bronny James is going to be in the future. That combined with a jump shot, which of course Bronny even had stated how Bronny James could shoot a lot better at this age than he could at that age. That's a huge factor in how Bronny will develop long term. And of course, you guys know, moving at the next level, playing the next level, you have to be able to shoot the basketball. It really doesn't matter what position you're playing in, unless you're some type of freak athlete on the court, you have to be able to shoot the ball. And I for sure think this is a great opportunity for us to really look and take some insight and some inventory into what Bronny has in his bag. And for sure, after seeing this game, I think we saw a lot more than we thought Bronny had brought to the table. This dude has a ton of skill, ton of talent, not a lot of people really noticed. Now, my biggest thing about Bronny is, number one, if he can do this consistently. I think it's one thing to show once in a while what you can do on the basketball court, but if he can find a way to be super consistent and really able, right, to go after it, take initiative, and really look for his own shots, I think that's going to be a huge difference and a huge determining factor as to whether he's going to be super good in the future or just an average player. And we have to give him credit for sure. He is better than a lot of these NBA players' sons. You guys know this by now. Man, a lot of these NBA players' sons really cannot hoop, and we're not even having these type of conversations. Man, most of those dudes probably not even playing EYBL or really even competing at this type of level, where Bronny is playing up one, and of course, not only competing, but this dude is dominating. He definitely dominated in that last game if you're dropping 20, and I think for sure we have to give this dude some type of credit and respect, and he for sure earned my respect this game. Now, I'm very curious, what do you guys think about this entire situation? Man, do you think I missed anything about Bronny James? For sure, super impressive game, and I think a lot of people, people may even call me a hypocrite saying that I turned on Bronny and now he's playing well, this and that. But at the end of the day, you got to give credit where it's due, and for sure, this dude is playing very well with that IQ as well. That's something you can't teach always. For sure, has a strong IQ, which that can be transferred any level wherever you play. So I think Bronny has a ton of intangibles that can make him very successful in the future. But you guys, let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about Bronny's brand new game, him dropping 20? Do you think he performed well? How do you think he will prepare in the future? Is he going to be better than Bron, man? After seeing this, man, we have to beg the question. Let me know in the comments down below, and if you think I missed anything, and let me know. Make sure you recommend some video suggestions you do have down below, man. But make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications, get a notification every time I upload a new video. I appreciate all the support, man. All right, it's LNH and I'm out.